Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to my new podcast. So, this podcast right here, the whole audio will be in English, and I'm gonna be talking with people about trips and going over to other countries out of Brazil and talking about their experiences coming to Brazil or going anywhere, like going to any other countries, and just pretty much talking about how going out of your country can make you have a different vision of life itself. So that's pretty much it, and welcome to I'm not sure how I'm gonna call this. Maybe, well, Easy was my nickname, so yeah, I'm gonna call it Planet Easy. So welcome again, and let's do it.
Hey, yo, my boy.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Oh, man. I wish I had the Australian accent. All right, man. I'll just explain to everyone that is listening. So this podcast is new.
Yep.
I invited my best friend, Shaun Pugsley, from Australia to talk a little bit about himself, to talk about a little bit about his trip. So to everyone that is listening, of course, like it's obvious that I'm not a native English speaker. I'm from Brazil, and sorry if at any moment I speak or say something wrong. Sean, you can just go straight ahead and correct me if I say
it's all good.
something
I can
like
do
that. Cool. All right. So Sean, please just introduce yourself. Tell everyone what country did you travel to, and how old were you when you went there?
Okay, yeah. So, hi, viewers. My name's Shaun Pugsley. I recently traveled to Brazil to visit Eliseo, who's the host of this podcast. And I was 19 when I did so. So it wasn't too long ago. It was in February, actually, which was right before the COVID pandemic. So, yeah.
Cool. If you can, just tell them a little bit about your interests, like what do you normally like to do? Just, yeah, a little bit about your interests in general.
Yeah, so things that I'm interested in, or my hobbies and stuff like that. Obviously, I do a lot of basketball, which is my main sport. I'm also a scooter rider. I ride for a crew here in Adelaide or Mount Barker, known as the Roll All Day Crew. We do coaching programs at the skate park to help younger people improve their skills. I also like doing filming, so I've got my own YouTube channel, which I do filming on, and I also like to do music. I'm a very open person, so I like to do a lot of things, but yeah, those are probably my main top things that I enjoy doing.
Nice, man. I'm certain that one of the things that you enjoy to do is to travel.
Oh,
So
yes,
I
definitely.
want to ask you, what were your expectations when you came to Brazil? Like, did they become what you were expecting, or was it like completely different?
Yeah, well, in all honesty, when I was first going over to Brazil, obviously I haven't done much traveling. The only other travel I've done besides Brazil was going with my family to Abu Dhabi. So I didn't actually know what to expect, so I didn't really have any expectations. But yeah, when I got there, I was pretty much blown away with how everything was. I think the one thing I was expecting the most was probably more English speakers. And when I realized that, almost no one spoke English, that made it a bit interesting. But no, my expectations were, just going into it as a new outsider who's never been to the country before. So yeah, I didn't know quite what I was expecting, really.
Yeah. And also, you came to like a state that is not the biggest one. So maybe if you went to like São Paulo, which is one of the most known states in our country, you maybe would find more people to talk with you in English. But yeah, here I know how you went through it.
Yeah. Well, like when I went there, I was planning to travel to bigger capitals like Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo and all that sort of stuff. So if I was to go there, then it probably wouldn't have been as bad. But because I was kind of in a smaller state and a less populated or modernly developed area, that probably didn't help.
Yeah. Did you find any differences between the people the way people talk, the way people interact with each other.
Yes, there was quite a big. Well, there were similarities to Australians and Brazilians with their interactions, but obviously the biggest difference I noticed was the language. Obviously, you guys speak completely different to us, so the interactions are going to be slightly different. But at the same time, I also realized that being a non-native, I was pretty much the center of attention no matter where we went. But the thing that I did like about it was, even though I was the center of attention and nobody knew me, everyone was still super friendly. But being an Australian native, it's not really the same because, oh, you're an Australian, we don't need to treat you any different. Where if, like, when you came to Australia, how everyone loved you,
that's true. Yeah. I really did find that very similar because people in Australia were like so friendly with me. I mean, not it's not that they were like hugging or kissing, because we have this. We just, if I see you in the street, I know you, I'll go there and hug you. There is no other option. We don't shake hands.
That was another thing that caught me off guard, was you just like walk up to random people and start hugging them. And I was like, okay. Where, here,
that's right.
Like, to go up and hug someone, you'd have to be like really close mates with them. Where if it's just someone you know, you'd normally go up and like shake their hand or something, or even just wave and say hello, like you wouldn't hug them. That would more be for like family or like really close friends. But no, it was actually quite interesting to see that happen.
Yeah. What I would like to ask you, man, it's what's the craziest story that you have from your trip?
This actually might come to a bit of surprise to you, but in all honesty, the craziest story was your family. Like,
oh, for real?
Like just how open, like especially your uncles, like they're just so open, and like it just caught me way off guard. And just how involved they were with everything, just was nuts to me. But obviously, like, you know, the answer, Carnival was pretty intense.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's definitely something that I very enjoyed, and that was, if you were thinking like an event that happened, which was the craziest, then Carnival would definitely be like the craziest event. But the craziest thing to happen would definitely be like your family, with how over the top they were and stuff like that, which, like, by all means is not a bad thing, but yeah, it was just crazy and caught me very off guard.
Yeah, cool, man. And I believe that in Carnival you realized how like this hugging thing probably came out like straight ahead, because
that was just full force when I went to Carnival. It was just, that was it. Like, you go there and
and people being friendly, it goes to another level when people have alcohol in their blood. It's just way over top,
over there,
man.
like
people just
when you have alcohol, everybody's your best friend.
I don't think this is special in Brazil, but in Carnival we have this here.
It's very similar here in Australia. Like, if you go to a party and you're drinking, and like, even if you slightly know someone and you're just like got a bit of alcohol, they're just instantly your best friend, and you're just like over the top with them. They're like, "Oh my god, man, hey, how you going?" And,
yeah, man. Do you guys in Australia have anything similar to Carnival, like a national party that you normally do?
Yeah, so in Australia we've got Australia Day, which for us Aussies, like, that's probably one of the biggest celebrations you can have. But one thing that, like, as I got older, I kind of realized that Australians just come up with any reason to get drunk and drink alcohol. Like, we've got Australia Day, we've got Easter, Christmas, just anything is a reason for us to drink. But no, Australia Day is definitely probably one of our biggest, what is it? Trying to think of the word. Kind of like national holiday for our country, where everyone celebrates it. Like, Australia Day is definitely up. Obviously, you got Christmas and all that everyone celebrates around the world, but specific to our country, it's definitely Australia Day. That's pretty big.
Yeah, man. Australia Day is the day when you guys, like, you go dressed with like Australian flags.
Yeah, Australian flags, anything to do with Australia, you get dressed up as. You throw big parties with your family, have massive barbecues and stuff like that. And just drink as much alcohol as possible.
Yeah. Well, there is this one thing that you just said. The person that just created Carnival was thinking like, oh yeah, we should do a holiday that everyone wouldn't have to work and they can just drink.
Yeah.
They would be it's the perfect excuse,
Yeah.
man.
Well, that's like pretty much the same as our Australia Day. Like for our Australia Day, I think it's everybody gets 2 days off of work, and then you just drink and have parties. Like that's it.
Yeah, there is no reason for
you're
it.
just
Like,
celebrating being
why?
Australian, basically. We're Australian, so let's celebrate it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah. What was the daily thing that you enjoyed the most while you were here?
The thing that I enjoyed the most daily was, oh God, there were so many things we did. Honestly, I reckon just going around and just seeing places. Like almost every day we were going somewhere new, and just experiencing your way of living and the things that you go through on a daily basis was probably just so enjoyable to me because it was so different from what I'm used to. Like my daily lifestyle is literally just going to the skate park or going to basketball, staying at home, where you were doing so much different stuff. Like you had a lot more family orientated stuff or, yeah, like it's even hard to put into words, but, yeah, the most engaging thing as a daily thing was simply just, yeah, living there basically.
Yeah, I see. Going around and actually experiencing how it would be if you lived here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. All right. The expectation I was when I wrote this question was like, oh, he's gonna say surfing. He's gonna say surfing.
Yeah. See, the reason I didn't say surfing was because unfortunately we didn't actually do it that much. Like I think we only did it 2 or 3 times while we were there. But that was definitely a highlight of being there. Was just the beaches and the surf was just incredible. And for those listening, just because I'm an Australian doesn't mean I know how to surf. I'm not a surfer. Stereotypically, if you're an Australian, you're a surfer, but that's not true.
Yeah, that's right. When I went to Australia, I had that expectation.
Yeah, that everyone was.
I was like, everyone's gonna have that real athletic body, having their surfboards under their arm, going to school on a kangaroo with a surfboard under their arm.
Oh God,
that's the picture, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So in your daily routine, you also you did the English course, right?
Yeah. So while I was there, I was fortunate enough to do a Portuguese course with.
Sorry, man. I said English. Yeah, I said English. Like, why would you go to Brazil and start learning English?
So I did a Portuguese course with Menavina, which was really cool. Unfortunately, it did get cut short because of the whole COVID and everything, and having to come back home. But even in the short amount of time, I managed to learn so much, and I learned enough that I was able to interact with people even if they couldn't speak much English. Which was very helpful because if I needed to know something and say you or some of the other boys weren't around, I could still at least communicate with them.
Yeah, true. It got to a point where people would just say a sentence in Portuguese and you could know maybe 2 or 3 words and you would understand the situation and what the person was trying to say.
Yeah, because I just those words that I knew, I would just kind of put them together and then, I'd basically make up the sentence they're trying to say in my head without actually knowing completely what they're saying.
Yeah. I heard this recently from somebody that if you know 800 words from a language, you're already fluent.
Yeah, right.
You can speak. Even though you don't understand the whole sentence, that will happen.
Yeah, right.
You just start getting the feeling of what people are talking.
Yeah.
If you have lived in anywhere, you just know what situations look like.
And you can kind of also read their body language. So if it's a serious thing, you can see that they're more worked up about it. And so that was also the other thing too is, especially with your mum, for example, what was so good about her when she was talking with me is obviously she couldn't speak much English, but when she was speaking Portuguese, she would make it more visual for me. So if she was talking about, say, the dog, for example, she would actually point at the dog. she wouldn't just say the dog in Portuguese and expect me to know what it is. She would actually point things out, which made it so much easier for me to understand what she was trying to say.
Yeah, for sure, man. It make you get the picture of what she's saying, not just the sentence.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to ask you, but like, it's only for the record.
Yeah.
Like, I already know the answer for it.
Yeah.
It's just, so why Brazil? Like, out of all the countries that you could have gone to?
Yeah, that is a good question. Like, so for me, I love traveling. I love I love the ability to be able to go and see the world. And originally I actually had no intentions to travel to Brazil. Like, it's been a country, Rio de Janeiro has always been a place that I've wanted to visit, but I had no real drive to go there. And then when you came to exchange in year 10, was it? Or year 11?
Year 11.
Year 11, yeah. So when you came as an exchange student in year 11, that just gave me a motive and a reason to go to Brazil, was to come and see you. Like, it's always been a place that I've wanted to visit. But yeah, as I said, there was nothing really pushing me to get there. And I've got plans to go to many other places. Like, I do want to go to, say, like America or even Germany, Finland, stuff like that. But yeah, Brazil was definitely one place that I just had to get to because you were there and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. When you, for everyone that is listening, after my exchange was over, Shaun told me, like, yeah, man, in 2020, I'm going to Brazil. Like, yeah, there is no other option. I'm coming.
Pretty much. Well, it
Just
was
wait.
something that just popped into my head. Like, I didn't even talk to you about it. I basically just said, by the way, I'm coming. Like, I didn't even say, oh, do you think it'd be a good idea? I just made it up in my head. I was like, no, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go to Brazil. And then, before you left, I was just like, yeah, we'll see you in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's right, man. Like, I always believed that you would actually come, but you always get that feeling like, oh man, because we had like we had like a lot of time, say like 3 months without speaking with each other.
Yeah.
From like, because it's just normal, man. If you're not like living with, seeing the person in the routine, even with my friends here in Brazil, I will stay like 4 or 5 months without talking with them.
Yeah, well, that's the same for me. Like, my mate Kyson, you obviously know Kyson, but for those that are listening, Kyson is one of my childhood best mates that I grew up with here. And I've been friends with him since I was in year 3, I reckon. But even Kyson, like, now I won't speak to him for 2 months at a time. And then when I see him, it's as if I saw him yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, that was the same with you when I went to Brazil. I hadn't seen you in 2 years, but as soon as I saw you, it was as if I saw you last week.
Yeah, that's right. I got the same feeling, man.
Yeah.
Got the same feeling. That was really cool. Like, yeah, that was really, really cool, man. And I only wanted to ask you because I needed, I just wanted to hear it again. Like, I miss you.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
You too, dude. I'm actually going to take over your podcast for a second. I'm going to ask you a question. Why did Australia out of every country you could have gone to?
That's cool, man. So the thing is, I didn't choose Australia. Australia chose me. Because when I also studied with Minervina, which is the teacher that was teaching you Portuguese. When I was there, one of the days, between all the classes and all that, there was one day that Minervina did like an event, which she said, oh, we bring in this Australian family to talk with everyone about, you can ask anything to them.
Yeah.
And they came and they start talking with everyone. And I was like looking and not understanding one single word that they were saying because of the accent. But like, I was paying so much attention and getting all the feelings. And then Minervina said, well, they actually are like, they actually are expecting someone to go to Australia. They said they have the interest of being a host family.
Yeah.
And I said, man, that's great. That's my opportunity, man. I gotta go. Like, that's my shot. And so then I just start talking with them. Like every opportunity that I had while they were here in my town to see them, I would do it, which was just like 1 or 2 times, but like I would try to do that. And then they accepted me to be the exchange student. And then I just went. Like it was like six months before, I didn't have any plans to go to Australia.
Yeah, right.
I actually was like wanting to go to Canada or America, like any other exchange student pretty much in Brazil. Like many exchanges, I just need to go to North America.
Yeah, right.
But man, there was no better country for me to go than Australia. I can't imagine going to anywhere else but Australia.
That's good. I love that.
Man, you guys are friendly, like have good people. The weather is good.
Yeah.
Because like if you go to Canada, you just stay. I'm not sure if the whole Canada is like that, but like it looks so cold all the year.
Yeah.
And man, that's not what I wanted. Like that's not life, man.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's it. And then I stayed for the whole year with this family, and they changed my life upside down. Like everything that I used to do and used to be, they changed everything for better. I got like really big improvement after that year. Not just them, but like you, Jacob, everyone. Like you can actually learn for your friends, all the boys. Yeah. So yeah, man, I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Cool. So I was, you said that I said like, oh yeah, maybe going to North America and all that. And I was thinking, we have the other boys that, you met here.
Yeah, Memo and Tobias.
Memo and Tobias, for everyone, just, Tobias is a German boy. Probably gonna invite him to our next podcast. We could do like one of the 3 of us.
That'd be good. All of us talking.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And, do you think there is like a possibility to actually, because we said that like me and you and Mimo, we said, yeah, we're going to Germany. And like last time you said you were coming to a country actually happened. Like it happened.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, it is definitely on the table. It is something that I do plan on doing. I've actually got family over in Germany. Well, not family, good family friends. That would be kind of cool to go and visit. And then I've also got friends in Holland, I think. But actually, I don't know. Did I tell you guys about Lily?
No, man.
Oh, so
I think so.
So Lily was a German exchange student who actually came and lived with my nana. Yeah. And so she came over as I pretty much went to Brazil. I think I saw her for a couple months before I left. And then, I go to Brazil and meet Tobias, who's another German. So, it's traveling to like Germany and Mexico is definitely something I do want to do. And it is a lot more helpful now that we've got that connection there, like having Tobias there makes it a lot easier because we know that we'll have somebody there. But, it's just an all a matter of time, how long and money, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. We gotta get in the internet, man. We gotta get the income from YouTube and all that.
I'll get my
that's
YouTube,
the business, man.
Channel blasting and
it's a great plan. So what we do is we start a YouTube channel talking about trips and stuff, and then we go to Germany without any money, and we just record the whole trip. Like living, and then we get famous, and then we get the money. That's the plan, man. We're doing it.
Yeah, well, that there is actually people that do that. We call them backpackers.
That's right.
Yeah, they're just people that will go to another country with almost no money, and will just do like daily jobs to earn a little bit of money so that they can eat food that night, and like they'll sleep on the floor and all this sort of stuff, and they just travel around doing that. And that would be pretty sick to like just do that and film the entire thing living as a backpacker.
Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, we do have the contact of Tobias, but we're not sure. We're not sure that he would like agree. We just said we go, and he said all right.
Yeah, I don't think he realized we were being dead serious. Like we were being serious
Yeah,
about
that's
actually
right.
coming. I think he was just like, oh yeah, they're just joking. They won't actually come.
Next
And then next
year,
thing he
we're just
knows, we're
showing
knocking
up.
on his door. Yeah.
Cool, man. So yeah, definitely gonna get the other boys to come and record a podcast with us. The next episodes will be with them.
Yeah, and that'll be good
And
because then you'll also get their perspective.
yeah, that's right. So Shaun, I wanna ask you a quick thing about how's COVID right now in Australia?
So, so I live in South Australia. So, luckily for us here, the COVID situation is dying down. Everywhere else is not as fortunate as we are, especially New South Wales and Sydney and stuff like that. They're hit pretty hard. Victoria's got a few new cases from when I last heard on the news. So it is still present. It's definitely something that we are taking very seriously. Luckily, our government were pretty on it. Like as soon as we started getting the virus, they put in the procedures straight away. We went into isolation, closed the borders, and all that sort of stuff. So we didn't have too many cases. Mount Barker, which is where I live in particular, I think we only had 2 cases or 1 case, which is good. So now currently everything's slowly starting to open back up. We've got the borders opening up in a few days, actually, I'm pretty sure. All the restaurants and venues are opening up. Sport is slowly coming back, which I'm super keen about because I'm itching to get back on the basketball court. But yeah, no, so the virus for us is...
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's getting there. We're fighting it day by day, but we're managing.
Cool, man. That's when you see like the big differences between countries. Because I've told you before, but for everyone that is listening this, right now, as you heard, Australia is already like opening everything again, going back to normal with just fewer cases, like just some cases, at least in your state, right?
So basically, I was just quickly going to add that here in South Australia, I believe we're 3 weeks with no cases. Of the 3 weeks, like 4 weeks with no new cases, which is pretty much a milestone. Which is why we're starting to opening everything back up, because if it's been that long where there's no new cases, then it's pretty much guaranteed that we've gotten rid of it.
Yeah, awesome, man. It's awesome. Here in Brazil, we are also like going back to normal and opening everything. But in the opposite way, we are actually with like the highest cases. We are the second country in the world with the most cases right now. We're only losing to United States. But don't worry, we can get there. If everyone works really well, we can get to the first place, man.
See, I reckon that's honestly what's happening is America just want to be first place. They want to be the best.
Yeah.
And even if it's in the worst possible way.
They gotta be the number one, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yeah, we joke around this kind of stuff. We know it's like a really, really serious situation, but it's that it's the 2 sides of a coin, man. Tragedy and comedy. It's just we gotta like I'm laughing about it, but in the background we are all concerned, and that's due to our government. You can go.
Well, us as Australians, a lot of the times the way we handle serious situations is through comedy. So when you come here, you would have realized that like the most serious thing could be happening and we're just paying it out and not giving a crap, really.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's how we are. We're just laid back because, especially in my opinion, if you worry about it too much, it's just going to make it worse than what it actually is. Where if you concentrate on it, or if you even make jokes about it, but still take it seriously, then it's easier on everybody because it's not such a serious situation.
Yeah, that's right, man. If you can like release the pressure, not being so tense about it. Because I can remember when we were here, when you were here, and we were like, it was the start of the virus. It was like just beginning, and we went like, oh yeah, we can't we can't shake hands with anyone, man.
Mm.
We can't, like, if we go into a car, you remember that? When we were in the car, I was like concerned because I thought I was with the virus.
Yeah.
Even though like I wasn't even going out of my place, man.
Yeah, no, it was just as soon as you get in the
Like-
car, you start panicking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just paranoia. It's not, it doesn't really, yeah, it's just what you said, man.
Yeah.
You gotta like be laid back and take it seriously, but not get so paranoid about it.
Yeah.
Anyways. I was gonna ask, man, is there any piece of advice that you would give to someone from Australia that is planning on coming to Brazil?
Yes. So don't do what I did and plan your entire trip within like 2 weeks. That's probably my biggest bit of advice. Because, and you're probably wondering, like, how in the hell did I only have 2 weeks to plan? Well, the problem was towards the end of it, I honestly didn't actually think I was going to get to Brazil because I had very little money to my name. I hadn't planned anything with travel. I hadn't booked any tickets because we agreed that I was going to get there in February. And I think it was like January 20th. And I still hadn't packed. I hadn't booked my plane tickets. I hadn't done anything. And then, yeah. And so I was almost about ready to call it quits. And then I was just like, no, you know what? And thankfully for my parents, like I basically owe them for the entire trip because they paid for the my flights and everything to get me over there, which I'm eternally grateful for. And so they were really the only reason I was able to get there. And so as soon as my parents said, no, like, look, we'll pay for it, I was just like, okay, cool. And then literally I just rushed everything. I was like constantly calling you up and being like, right, I've got this organized. What else should I do? Et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, if you are planning to not just travel to Brazil, but traveling anywhere, just make sure you plan a hell of a lot. If you're going to Brazil, don't take any pants. Only take shorts. It is hot as shit there. I think because when I packed a crap ton of clothes. I packed basically like 10 shirts. I reckon I packed 5 tank tops, about 6 shorts, and then 4 pants and 4 jumpers, and I wore 1 pair of pants once the entire time I was there.
Yeah, man. I wish we could just show a picture of your clothes like that you had here.
Yeah.
Because you pretty much, I think you only use the tank tops because like it's just too hot.
Pretty much. Yeah. At the start, I wore nothing but tank tops and shorts. And then as I started getting used to the environment there, I did start wearing shirts. And I did wear a pair of pants once, which was when we went to your auntie's graduation thing for becoming a novelist.
Yeah.
That was the biggest regret of my life. I was so hot the entire night. But yeah, that was literally the only time that, like, I had plenty of opportunities to wear pants, but it was just so hot that you didn't need to. So if you are, and especially if you're coming from even cold, like here in Australia, it gets really hot. So I'm used to the heat. But if you're coming somewhere like Canada or Tasmania where it's cold 24/7, as far as I'm aware, just be prepared. Like, yeah. And do research on where you're going. So luckily for me, I had you there, obviously. But if you're going there just by yourself, make sure you research where you're going, the things you're doing. And it's so much easier to travel with a person. My traveling to you was fine by myself, but as soon as I got there, if I didn't have you, I would have been screwed. Like, there was no way I could have survived as long as I did by myself. So yeah, that's
survive.
Oh yeah,
how to survive to Brazil, man.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's probably my biggest advice for any Australians or anyone that's planning on traveling to Brazil.
Cool, man. With the currency, man, you were talking about like how your parents helped you to come to Brazil and all that.
Yeah.
Were they like really happy because of the fortunate currency difference between the countries?
Yeah. So well, they actually were. So when I first arrived in Brazil, I was obviously planning to stay for 3 to 5 months. So my mum had actually transferred, I think she transferred about $3,000 Australian dollars into my bank account for me to spend for the first couple months there. So we kind of worked it up to be about $1,000 a month on spending. And I think because I was only there for just over a month, I reckon. And yeah, I barely scratched the surface of the money I had. So I was fortunate because the Australian dollar is about 3 reais, you reckon?
Yeah, right now it should be like 6 or something like close to 6 because we screwed, man.
Yeah. So luckily for me,
not...
everything was so cheap, so I didn't have to worry about my finance. And yeah, we're usually at home. If I had my money, like say I worked for a week and I've got my weekly payment, I'd have to think about the things I want to spend because I don't want to spend my money too quickly. Where over there, it was just like, oh, that looks interesting. Yeah, I'll buy it. Why not?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I was wondering, I think that's a good question because I believe that maybe some Brazilian friends will come and listen to this too.
Yep.
So could you tell us how much is it, if it's not like inappropriate, but I don't think you would care about it, how much you earn for like per hour
So
in Australia normally?
Yeah, so the average, it comes down, when it comes to earning money as a worker here in Australia, it comes down to many different things. It comes down to the industry you're working in, whether it be hospitality or retail or whatever. And the biggest one is your age. So a lot of people who work in like fast food restaurants like Domino's or Macca's or stuff like that, Macca's will hire they'll try and hire younger workers because you don't have to pay them as much. Where as soon as you hit 18, you instantly have to get paid a hell of a lot more. So it all comes down to the job you work as. So the job that I was doing before I left for Brazil, I was a kitchen hand for a catering company in the city, and I was getting about $20 an hour, it's $20 an hour is good. But obviously because I was getting such good payment, I was also working such short hours. So I was only working about 3 hours a day, for $20, which is, for my situation, it was good. It was enough for me to, go day to day, which I was very grateful for. But if you were to go somewhere else, I think for a 16-year-old, by law, they have to pay you a minimum of, I think it's like $14 an hour. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so
you said you earn like $20 an hour,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Do you normally work 8 hours a day?
So yeah, once again, it comes down to your type of job. So with my job, I was only working mornings, but if you're doing just like your day-to-day desk job sort of thing, it's what we call 9 to 5. You start at 9, you probably won't finish off until 5 o'clock when you come home. And that's your average job. Obviously, there are some, like my mum, for example, she works about 12 hours a day. Sometimes on busier days, it goes up to 16 hours. So she'll be up at 9 o'clock and she won't get home. Or sometimes she works from home and she won't finish until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So
more heavy job, like doing more time, more hours.
Yeah. But then also you've got workers like my dad who, he's a landscaper. So his hours rely on the weather and customers and stuff like that. So he doesn't have a fixed amount of hours, where my mum has a certain amount of hours she has to work, basically.
Yeah. But like, so for an average person, as you said, it's the 9 to 5, right?
Yeah. For the average person, it's about 9 to 5.
Counting on the fingers, it is 8 hours. I was like counting here as you were talking.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if someone so like right now in Brazil, so in Australia, one person works for 1 day, right? She earns $20 an hour. So for the 8 hours she's working, so she's getting $160 a day, right?
Yeah, about that.
Okay. All currency right now, the difference is 1 to 5 in Brazil. And from like, it's 1 to 5 from United States, but I think Australian dollar is even more expensive than the American dollar, isn't it?
No, it's not. American dollar is more valuable than ours, but it's not by much. I think it's by I think it's a 1-to-2 ratio for American, or like 1-to-1.2 or something like that. So it's a little bit more valuable.
It's really close.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let's say it's like 1 to 3 reais, like from Australian dollars to reais. So one person gets $20 an hour in Australia for 8 hours a day. She's gonna get $160 times 3. That does is 480 reais, which is 50%
of all average monthly income
Yeah.
in one day.
Yeah, that's
Because people here, yeah, that's it. It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
people here work for one whole month and they get the money that you guys earn in 2 days. In 2 days you get more than we working for a whole month.
Oh yeah, it was definitely something that
How
made
crazy
me,
is that?
Yeah, it definitely was something that made me more grateful for money, and especially my living situations. Yeah, just experiencing what you guys go through and like your money values and stuff like that.
The thing is, you guys obviously spend more money than we do. Like there's a big difference between all basic costs and yours. However, when someone like you come to Brazil, what happens is you get instantly rich because you're getting just so much more money normally because of the currency. How crazy is that?
Because obviously, when I first got there, I was confused on how the currency was working, because at first I kind of forgot that there was a difference with the value. And so when I realized how cheap everything was, I was just like, oh, you guys are probably like spending so much and all this sort of stuff. But then I realized you guys don't earn as much as we do. So it kind of made me realize that, it made me more grateful for my current living situations and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, like right now, I'm just thinking, man, I gotta get paid in dollars, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
When I say to you that I wanna like do YouTube and that kind of stuff, it's just because they pay in dollars.
Yeah,
So
that's If you can be successful, especially on something like the YouTube platform, then you're pretty much set for life, really.
Yeah, man. I think so. Yeah, but what really matters is enjoying life. I think you guys there have a really good, like, it's one of my dreams, just going back to Australia to live there. It's on the book, man.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
You gotta be. Yeah, I would just buy a house on the side of yours, man. And we just live like, I'll go to my job with a skateboard. Yeah. That's right, man. I'll just go there. And I don't know, man. It's just talking about this stuff makes me excited. But anyways, so Shaun, we have a good time here. Like, people that want to listen to some good stories, they'll find out in this podcast. Thank you for coming, man.
That's all right. Thanks for having me as your first English guest. I appreciate it.
Ah, man, you don't have to. You don't have to ask me. You know, I wouldn't invite anyone else but you, man.
I appreciate that.
We will sort everything out to have the boys in the next episode, and that's it for today.
Sweet. See, I've got a slight problem, because I get into hobbies really easily, and now that you've gotten me to do this, I'm probably going to start doing podcasts myself.
Yeah, man, it's a great job. It's a great thing, man.
Yeah.
It's really fun to do. Like, you have an excuse to talk with your friends. It's just so cool, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it is something that is cool. I've always liked podcasts, but yeah.
And I'm not getting paid to do this, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
First episode, no one's gonna hear today. Anyways, this app that we were using, Anchor, the name's Anchor. This app is so easy to use, man, and you can like just talk with anyone, record it. It's really simple.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, like, I normally take it the recording to a computer and edit in the computer because it's faster. But you can even edit on your phone. It's just too easy. So anyways, thank you again.
That's right.
And you have the invite to come whenever you want to talk with Australian Brazilian, or anyone else that speaks English anywhere in the world.
Cool.
All right.
I get VIP
And all right,
access.
man. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's for sure.
Cool.
All right, man. Catch you later.
See you, man.
See ya.